Hello everyone, it's Joe from WhatCulture.com here, and welcome to the Raw Pre-Show Podcast. Now, if you are watching this on YouTube, sorry that you cannot see any of our faces, but unfortunately it's just me in the office today. Adam is away for his little hollybobs in Jersey, and Jack is on his little hollybobs in Heaton.
Don't worry.
What?
But don't worry, because I'm coming in from Skype. That could have been a lot smoother. I'm very sorry.
Have I turned into Randy Orton? Am I hearing voices in my head?
No,
Jack is, of course, with me on Skype. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me, Jack. I imagine you are still very sleepy on account of staying up watching Roadblock last night.
I am, but what better thing to perk me up than the knowledge that we're in for another 3-hour night of excellent Monday Night Raw action.
Yay.
Oh, wait.
Raw this week from Columbus, Ohio. And the main talking point is the fact that Kevin Owens is still the Universal Champion after the treachery and the chicanery of his disqualification victory over Roman Reigns last night at Roadblock. How pissed off can we expect Roman Reigns to be tonight?
I hope very, but I'm not sure if he will be. You mentioned recently that last year a similar thing happened where Sheamus screwed him out of the title. Vince McMahon. Who was it? Was it Triple H?
So last year at the year-end pay-per-view, which was TLC, the League of Nations, including your babe Ruru, screwed Roman Reigns out of the title, and then Roman Reigns went pretty wild on Triple H. The next night on Raw, he won the championship.
I'd like to see him really annoyed.
I don't want to see him winning the championship tonight.
No, I don't want to see him winning the championship, but I'd like to see him annoyed.
Yeah.
But I don't think it will be. It won't be a repeat of last year because we already kind of saw that after him and Rollins went a bit wild on the heels and put them through tables and stuff. And I don't know if they'll do that again. He might come out and you know what? I think it'd be a bad idea, but he might just come out and cut a promo.
Yeah. I imagine.
Sorry, a train just went past.
No, it's fine. I imagine there will be words had, there will be words spoken. I think the one thing that hinders any sort of progress or anything like that with Roman is the fact that he still has that United States Championship draping over those not so broad shoulders anymore. Because his ego must be deflated after losing last night. Do you see another US title match tonight, Jack?
I hope so. I don't know who would you have challenge for it?
Well, that's the good point. I don't think Jericho deserves another title match. He lost last week, plus everything that happened in the main event. Do you see maybe Sami Zayn getting a title match after surviving Strowman last night?
Maybe they could do face versus face.
I feel
maybe your boy, well not your boy, but maybe Strowman will get his shot against Reigns sooner than we expected.
Yeah.
If that's the way they go.
So if you've watched the Roadblock review or have seen my Twitter or have spoken to me in recent weeks, you'll know that I've changed my opinion slightly on the Universal title match at WrestleMania. I believe it's going to be Reigns defending his champion against Braun Strowman. I feel like the seed can be sown with Strowman taking the US title off of Reigns. Strowman doesn't need to hold it that long in order to prep himself for the main event. But I believe Strowman taking the title off Reigns would be a good start. I would have maybe Sami Zayn being rewarded for surviving against Strowman by giving him a title match tonight and Strowman screwing him out of it. Maybe next week Strowman beats Zayn, and then the week after Strowman takes the title to open the new year and then it sets Reigns off for his rematch at the Rumble, and then Strowman and Zayn in the Rumble match itself. But that's just my opinion.
I like it. There's certainly a lot worse they could do with that belt, and I think keeping it on Reigns is one of them.
Yeah, I think within the next few weeks, the belt has to come off Roman to give Roman any sort of credible, threatening ability to take the title off of Kevin Owens. If Owens is still the champion going into the Rumble, I feel like the Balor thing could happen.
Yeah.
If Owens isn't the champion, that's going to be something different. And I still think the WWE might be keen on Reigns versus Strowman. So I'd like to see something happen with the US title tonight to maybe set up Reigns losing it. But at the same time, if they do Reigns and Rollins versus Owens and Jericho, I wouldn't be too annoyed.
No, it'd be all right. It's a bit of a Raw main event, isn't it? If that's one of them.
Yeah, that it would be a stereotypical main event, but I wouldn't be.
It would be good. I'd imagine it would be a good match and an entertaining main event.
Yeah, I don't imagine it would be too bad. Also, from Roadblock last night, we saw a 6th women's title change in 8 months, where Charlotte has maintained her perfect singles streak on pay-per-view and is the new Raw Women's Champion. She is 30 years old and has held a Women's Championship 4 times. 5 technically, but we'll call it 4. What happens with the women tonight? Because we're going to work on the assumption that the WWE are not going to twist their words again like they've done in the past, and the Sasha-Charlotte feud is over. And we can focus on a new challenger now.
Yeah, and logic dictates that it will be Bayley.
The fans would dictate that it would be Bayley.
Well, sorry, yeah.
That wasn't me putting you down, by the way, Jack. That's who I imagine the fans would want.
No, of course, no, I agree. But I just can't think of anyone else on Raw who deserves a title shot. I can't think of any other female baby faces.
There's not really a lot. I think
Fox is kind of going a bit crazy.
I think Foxy's busy with the whole Dar and Alexander thing.
Yeah.
Dar the little slime man. Nia Jax is a heel, but I suppose that's not going to matter if all she wants is gold.
Who else is...
Dana Brooke doesn't work, and Sasha has no more title matches, so it's got to be Bayley.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else really.
And that sums up the women's division on Raw at the moment. There is not enough depth, in my opinion. There is a reason that Charlotte and Sasha have done 7 or 8 matches recently. It's because they're the only two that you can rely on getting top matches out of, other than Bayley. But Bayley's obviously the most recent person to come up. So...
I think, you know what, maybe they will just go straight for Bayley. Maybe they'll do you remember what they did, the Raw after Mania, where they got all the women in the ring, and Charlotte was like, I'm the champion, someone step up, and then Natalya did.
I feel like Natalya wouldn't.
Oh no, I'm not saying that Natalya will, because she's on SmackDown, but I'm just saying maybe there'll be a thing with Charlotte.
An example like that.
And all the Raw women in the ring.
Yeah.
And then someone will, take that as a chance to at least have a title match with a...
I suppose, going off that, sorry to interrupt, Jack, Becky has lost her rematch for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So... if you are going to flip Becky over, now could be the time to do it.
The obvious, yes, and I'm sure you were going to say this anyway, but the obvious problem there is that it leaves SmackDown's women's roster very thin.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're bringing, Mickie James in, as is rumoured, and we don't know how long Asuka's going to be sticking around in NXT for, I guess.
I feel like if the Women's Royal Rumble match, which we talked about a week or two ago, I feel like if that goes ahead, I feel like that could be Asuka's call-up.
It could. We've seen... It doesn't necessarily mean that you've got to move straight to the main roster.
Of course not.
But I'd like to see Asuka on SmackDown. And I think she will at some point.
Yeah, I can imagine Asuka being the SmackDown Women's Champion.
Yeah, she'll get the belt pretty quickly, you've got to think.
Yeah, you would think. But let's see what happens with the women on Raw tonight. Another title change that occurred at Roadblock last night. We have new tag team champions for the first time in just under a year and a half.
Oh.
In Cesaro and Sheamus. But they don't seem to be getting along anymore, which is weird considering they looked like they were getting along just fine.
They became friends in that bar. Yeah, never mind.
They became friends in the bar. They did a good old-fashioned fist bump at the start of the match on the way to the ring. And then they had the belts and they couldn't decide who was going to have them. It's a very weird dynamic.
I know, and I don't like it, because, you know what, I really started to enjoy when they were slowly becoming friends, and they were like...
Yeah.
It's very different. Now it's tag partners who don't get along, and we've seen that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Do we think the New Day get a rematch? I really don't want to see a pay-per-view rematch. I'm not too keen on pay-per-view rematches straight after a pay-per-view. There is one on Raw tonight, which we'll get to in a minute. But do you want to see a rematch between the New Day and the new champs, or do you build up?
Only if it sets up new feuds. Only if someone interferes.
I feel like we need a tournament on Raw to crown number one contenders for the Rumble.
Yeah, I'd like a tournament. Love a tournament.
I feel we need to get the rematch out of the way and done with, and then set up the tournament in the next few weeks to crown new number one contenders for the Rumble.
Who do you think it'd be? Club?
You would think. I think it will be the club. I hope it's not the New Day. I'm saying that I'm sounding disparaging towards the New Day. I think the New Day are a great team, but I think they need a little bit of a refreshing. I think it's not wearing thin, it's not wearing stale, but after a year and a half, maybe it's time to just reevaluate and sort of change things a little bit.
Yeah.
They have the record now, which is great. Congratulations to the New Day. Let someone else have a little bit of time on top, and maybe do a tournament to crown number one contenders. Because you would think that Cesaro and Sheamus and all three members of the New Day would be shoo-ins for the Rumble match.
Yeah.
And it's not uncommon for tag teams to do double duty at the Rumble. So we'll see what Cesaro and Sheamus get up to tonight. I don't think the New Day are going to lose it too bad with them handing the titles over to the new champions at the end of the match. If they're going to do the rematch, give it a couple of weeks. I don't want to see a pay-per-view rematch straight away. The best example I can think of is at WrestleMania 19, Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho had a fantastic match. They didn't do that rematch for about 4 months, and they hyped it as a pay-per-view rematch, and it was great. It was a hell of a match to watch. It was really good fun. I don't know, you don't have to wait 4 months for this one, but give it a few weeks. Let people breathe a little bit.
We're going to see it tonight. It's going to happen. I'm sorry.
I really hope not, but we'll see. Another talking point, Sami Zayn lasted 10 minutes. We had this discussion on the Roadblock review. We can call it a Sami Zayn victory, we can call it a time limit draw, we can call it whatever, but Sami Zayn survived. Is Mick Foley going to have Sami Zayn in his good books?
I don't know. He came out again, didn't he? This was another one where it seemed like the storyline had finally turned and the big thing had happened, which was Foley saying, I was just firing you up, go and get him. And then it kind of regressed a little bit. Foley came out and was his old self, trying to protect Zayn. To be honest, I mean, that promo last week on Raw really saved a lot of the disappointment I was having in the Zayn Foley story. But now it seems back to square one, and I think they're going to have another. I think what'll happen is it'll be like the whole I survived, Mick, and all this, and then Mick's like, yeah, but no, sorry. I think Zayn will be disappointed because he didn't win. Well, he did, but he'll be disappointed in the way he won. Foley will be like, no, it's good, you won, and Zayn will get cross and be like, no, I want to win properly, and then they'll have another match with a different stipulation. I'm not sure what that stipulation will be, but they'll have a different one.
Yeah, I feel like we said earlier on the podcast, I feel like there's still a little bit more with Zayn and Strowman, but give Zayn something fresh and mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna go for the United States title match tonight. I'd really like to see Zayn get a good challenge in on Reigns. Obviously, it doesn't have to be a clean victory, but give Zayn that challenge. You know, if they're pushing Reigns as the top guy in the company, you could have Foley say, you know, you toppled the giant, you survived the giant. Let's see how he survived the big dog or something like that. And Strowman could be annoyed because he isn't getting a championship opportunity, and that could set up some things down the line. But I really want them to, sooner rather than later, start building Zayn for the Rumble. So I'm very safely calling Zayn to be the Iron Man.
Yeah.
I also noticed last night there were some great examples of that jelly-like business that you were discussing with Zayn.
Oh, God, he's so good at it.
Looked great.
He did it too much, and I didn't want to see him get beaten.
Yeah, I feel like he did a little bit too much, but
it wasn't his fault. The match called for it too much.
Yeah, it did. And two more quick talking points before we move on. We're going to say pay-per-view rematch. I know I was saying I'm not too keen on pay-per-view rematches straight away, but we are going to say pay-per-view rematch tonight, or more pre-show rematch. Big Cass will go one-on-one with Rusev. The match wasn't too special last night, so I don't really know what I'm expecting from these two tonight, if I'm being perfectly honest.
I don't know. I'm not looking forward to it either, to be honest. I don't know. I just remember being really excited when Enzo and Cass first came in, and I remember being really excited recently with Rusev and how well he was doing. And this feud just seemed to lose steam really fast, like last week or so.
Yeah.
Because the Enzo thing with the hotel, that was all great, and then it's all slowed right down. And I've now got pretty much no enthusiasm to see this match again. And it's a shame because Rusev's really good. Cass is, you know, getting better, I think, as a singles guy.
Yeah, I agree.
But, just don't really care who wins, which is awful, you know. But I don't.
Yeah,
care.
I'm not invested in this feud.
I don't know how. I don't know what happened because it was such a strong storyline just a week ago.
Yeah, but
maybe it's because they put it on the pre-show.
Yeah, I feel like that may have been a big kick for both of these guys. But this will be a toilet break match for Raw. I will not be too upset if I miss this match. Rewatching this event. And finally, the Cruiserweights are inevitably going to show up on Raw again this week. But there is a new member of the Cruiserweight division confirmed, and that is Neville, who made quite the impact last night at Roadblock. Do we see anything happening with the Newcastle lad?
Yeah, of course. I think he's going to cut a promo, which is always risky because of his voice. But I think he'll cut a promo and explain his intentions, or a backstage interview, and then go out and beat someone. Hopefully not Lindsay or Cedric.
No, I'd like. Is it bad that I really want to see Neville in a squash match?
Win a squash match.
Yeah, win a squash match. I don't know who you feed to him.
Sadly, the perfect person for that is Lindsay. He looks great when he's getting beaten up. Please not Lindsay.
No, I think I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. I don't want to see Lindsay Dorado be destroyed, but I feel like Lindsay Dorado may be the victim here.
He's the Ziggler of the Cruiserweights. He's just good at flopping about.
You can't feed him Dar, you can't feed him Gallagher, because I think they
Cedric's Cedric's busy with Dart and they don't want to make him look too weak.
Yeah, Gallagher's got his thing going on with Daivari.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be Lindsay.
Oh.
Sorry, Jack.
That's alright.
I mean, they might not squash match him. They may just stick him with Akira Tozawa. They may have 10 minutes. They may absolutely kick it in the dick. And Neville wins with the Red Arrow. But
it's going to be Lindsay.
It's going to be Lindsay. Right, let's go on to some Twitter questions because I know Jack would like to go and enjoy the rest of his holiday. So let's start with so many questions. Matty Davidson, I'm going to start with that. People are hating on the Iron Man match. First of all, why? The match was great. Matty Davidson thinks it was great, but what are your thoughts, Jack, on the Iron Man match?
I thought it was good. I didn't think... you know what? Weirdly, I preferred the Falls Count Anywhere match on Raw. Yes. I thought this match was good, and I thought it was match of the night. Except, you could also say that the tag match is in with a shout in a very different way. Because the Iron Man match was the most epic feeling match on the card. It was long.
Yeah.
There was blood accidentally, but it felt really big. And it probably was. You know what? On balance, it probably was match of the night.
Mm.
But the tag match worked so well as a little package, and it had that ingenious finish. Whereas I didn't really like the finish of Charlotte Sasha too much.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head.
But it was good, and I don't understand why people are hating on it. No, I think it might just be one of those things where people are trying to find a reason to hate on it so they can be cool. Because Charlotte and Sasha have had so much praise recently that now maybe it's just time to be like, well, they're not that good. But it was good. It was.
Yeah, I agreed with them not having like a fall till later on in the match. I think the first fall, the natural selection off the top rope was great at a point. There was a question in here about why didn't they reference the blood. I don't think that was intentional. Plus, with it being PG, you can't really reference the fact that there's blood in any other situation that stopped the match. But because it was sudden death, they had to sort of keep rolling with it. I thought it was a good match. It's definitely not the best Iron Man match I've ever watched. I preferred Bayley versus Sasha.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was my match of the night, and I don't understand why people are hating on it. But that's what people are going to do, I suppose. Daniel Lynch asks, will WWE start adding other people to the Cruiserweight division, the likes of Kalisto? He's also said Sin Cara, but I don't know what Sin Cara does to stay relevant these days. And also, what would we do to make the Cruiserweight division better?
To make it better, if it's gonna just go one way or the other with it. Either have it all on 205 Live, and then occasionally special matches, maybe like one match of pay-per-view, a title match of pay-per-view or something.
Yeah.
Or go the other way and at least stop treating them so differently on Raw. Like, don't have the ropes purple anymore. Pacitti noticed last night that they changed the hashtag, so it was WWE Roadblock for the rest of the night, and for the Cruiserweights it was hashtag 205 Live. Which just kind of sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, I feel like they're probably leaning towards going all 205 Live and then maybe a title match at the pay-per-view, which I can live with. You know, that will make me want to tune into 205 Live so I can keep on track with the Cruiserweights, especially if they're going to throw the likes of Neville, Kalisto into the mix, Aries if he comes back.
I'm not sure if too many people is the solution. I think just maybe more storylines for everyone.
Yeah, I think they're slowly starting that. I think the Dart Alexander thing.
Yes.
I don't know whether fighting over the affection of Alicia Fox is worth it.
It's at least something. It's better than nothing.
Something. Gallagher and Daivari. I referenced a while ago that Gallagher's gentlemanly interference was one of the best things I'd seen in quite some time. So that's something. What, sorry?
Lindsay's got that feud with John Cena coming up. He's going to be awesome. And he's going to win.
So I think they're slowly starting to get at the storylines. But I'm going to agree with Jack. I think they need to go all in on one or the other.
Yeah.
So let's keep an eye on that. At Conman81, asks, Was 30 minutes too short for the Iron Man match last night? Should they have gone 60? My opinion on that is no. 30 minutes is perfect.
I agree. I think it was the perfect amount of time.
If it's not the main event, it doesn't need to be 60 minutes. 30 minutes is more than enough. I feel like with Bayley and Sasha last year, if you really wanted to, you could have stretched 60 minutes out of them. But 30 minutes was more than enough for last night, especially considering they went to overtime as well. So
yeah, 30 was good. I
was happy with 30 minutes. At Rafa is a Geordie, which I know Jack will love. Early opinions of heel Neville. Where has he been for 6 months, in my opinion? Because this is brilliant. A change of character can be everything to a WWE superstar, and I think this is going to be the start of a big push for Neville. I want him to dominate the Cruiserweight division in 2017. I want him to win the belt early, and then just hold it, and hold it, and hold it.
I'd agree. Just to expand on that a little bit, if people aren't familiar with Neville's NXT run, when he was champion, he never went fully heel. He was a bit of a tweener at points, and he was really good. Like, he had a feud with Sami Zayn where he was kind of disrespecting him as a challenger and kind of not really. He'd kind of cheat little bits in matches and stuff, and it was really good. I think it was the best stuff he's ever done in WWE.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from with the whole tweener thing. I kind of remember the Fatal 4-Way match with him, Zayn, Tyler Breeze, and Kid, where I think he rolled up the tights to get the victory in that match.
Yeah, but he never went, like, he was kind of a heel, but he never went fully heel. But now I'm excited to see him just be horrible, just be fully heel.
Yeah, it's going to be good to see. At Festival CFC asks a really good question, actually. Is there any superstar that should change his or her finishing move? He has gone for Bayley and Dean Ambrose. For me, it would be Strowman. I'm not too keen on the reverse chokeslam. I think in a day and age where pile drivers are illegal, I think something pile drivery, head hurty thing for Strowman works, or maybe a killer submission move for Strowman. What about you, Jack?
Rollins.
Yes, totally agree with you. I don't know if anyone's seen my Twitter, but I am absolutely sick of seeing Seth Rollins hit the pedigree. I know he's waiting to hit Triple H with it, and that'll probably be the end of it. But I think he needs to move on from pedigree. I mentioned that in Ring of Honor, he used sort of a super kick, which he called Avada Kedavra. So the perfect combination would be that plus a Phoenix Splash, in my opinion.
Yeah, he still uses that. It just more as like it's just in the middle of the match.
Yeah, which is why I'm leaning towards the Phoenix Splash a little bit more.
I like the Phoenix Splash. It's weird though, when you think of like the top guys like Cena, Orton, Batista, Rock, Austin, going all the way back. There's very few who've had like a top rope finisher, like Eddie, but like, I mean, sustained top guys.
Yeah.
Which is weird for whatever reason. I wouldn't mind it though. I think it'd be good.
A signature move is more than acceptable with top guys. I mean, look at Angle. Angle's moonsault was one of the best signature moves you could hope for.
Yeah.
Benoit with the headbutt. Obviously, Guerrero was a bit different because the frog splash was his finisher, but he fit the lucha style. But yeah, I think Rollins fits the mold as a potential high-flying finisher sort of guy. Plus, the Phoenix Splash is a move that no one's ever going to get sick of seeing, in my opinion. So,
yeah.
Last question. Nathan at N Kravitz asks, when should the New Day split up, and who splits on who? Or who turns on who, I should say. I don't want to see them split up immediately. I don't want to see them win the tag titles back for some time, but I don't want to see them split up immediately. But I feel like the WWE are pretty keen on Big E.
Yeah.
I think a reference was made last night that Big E was in most of the tag title matches because of his versatility, because of his athleticism and his movement. So I think if anyone's going to turn on the New Day, I feel like it's going to be Big E.
I think you're right, but I want it to be Kofi, and there's no real logic behind that. I just really have always liked Kofi. And I was always really disappointed that he never got his big push during that Orton feud when it kind of all went a bit sour because he messed up one thing.
Yeah, that was around about the time where he was messing up cars and then he sort of messed up an RKO and Orton called him stupid and then hit him with another one.
Yeah, it was meant to be a punt. He was meant to stay down for a punt and he got up and then Orton was like, oh, but
stupid.
Yeah.
Then looking like he's having a fit.
It just killed him, and then it was doing well. It wasn't the most groundbreaking stuff, like trashing cars and that, but he was showing a bit of fire, and we'd never really seen it from him before.
Yeah.
He had a great win in Survivor Series where he beat Orton and Punk in the space of a few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And I just always thought he had potential, and I just really liked him. He's just one of, when you just like a mid-carder, and you're like, oh, he's my guy. Like, I really like him. And he was, and then it all kind of went downhill, and I just think if he was to turn heel, he'd be the one, or whoever turns heel is going to get the push.
Yeah, I agree with you, and like I said, I think the WWE are pretty keen on Big E. I think Big E has improved quite a bit since having the titles, so I feel like it's going to be Big E. But you never know with WWE. You really never know.
Yeah, you never know. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen in the WWE, thanks to the crazy, crazy mind of Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
That is going to do it not just for this week's Raw podcast, but also for the Raw Pre-Show podcast in 2016, because the next 2 weeks fall on bank holidays, and I've been told not to come into work. Hooray! So, no more podcasts until 2017. I imagine some of you are going to be really happy at that. To those that aren't so happy with that, I do apologise. We shall be back on the 9th of January, I believe it is. If we're not all dead from touring with WCPW. I will be on the SmackDown Pre-Show podcast tomorrow, filling in for Kenny, and that'll be the last one for SmackDown for 20. Jack, where can people find you to socialise with you on the Twitter box?
At Jack_the_jobber.
If you wish to talk to me, you can find me at the Joe Simkins. I'm Joe from WhatCulture.com, and from everyone here at the Raw Pre-Show podcast team, have a very happy holidays. Bye, guys.